Welcome to Chemistry Simplified. Our topic for today is octet rule and ions formations. This time we're talking about anions formation. Last time we looked at the cations. This time we're looking at anions formation. Let's briefly review what we went over last time. So what are ions? Ions can be divided into cations, which normally have positive charge. Why? Because they tend to lose electrons. And we said that the metals are usually the one that forms cations because they tend to lose their electrons. And on the other side, we have the anions, which we're going to be looking at today. Normally, they have negative charge. Why? Because they tend to gain, to accept electrons. And the nonmetals are the one that normally form the anions. Let's look at our first example, which is the formation of fluoride ion. Let's bring the periodic table. Let's look at fluorine. We could see fluorine located right next to neon. Neon is a noble gas, so chlorine would love to look like neon. And since chlorine has 9 protons, 9 electrons, so it's going to be easy for chlorine to gain an extra electron. So it would have 10 electrons, so we would assume a configuration just like neon, which is a noble gas. So chlorine is in group 7A and it's in period 2. So chlorine is in the second energy level. So we need to have 2 energy level to show all of the electrons which fluorine has. Fluorine has an atomic number of 9, which is the same as the number of protons. So fluorine has 9 protons. It also has 9 electrons because it's not charged. This is the nucleus of the atom. We do not show the neutrons to make it easier to understand. This is the first energy level. If you remember from last time, we said the first energy level can have a maximum number of 2 electrons. This is the second energy level, and the second energy level can have a maximum number of 8 electrons, but fluorine only has 9 electrons, so all we need to place in the second energy level is 7 electrons. Right? So fluorine has a total of 9 electrons, 2 of them in the first energy level, and 7 in the second energy level. And fluorine has a valence of 7 electrons because we have 7 electrons in the outermost energy level, which is the second energy level. The 2 electrons in the first energy level are referred to as core electrons. These are not available for reactions, so therefore we do not count them as part of the valence electrons. Right? So for fluorine to become an ion, it would gain an extra electrons as we had said before. So now it would have 8 electrons in its outermost energy level and a total of 10 electrons. So let's account for the charge. So the number of protons is still 9, but the number of electrons has changed. We now have 10 electrons. So 9 minus 10 is -1. So fluorine would have a charge now. So we would call it fluoride ion because it has a negative charge. Why? It gained an extra electron. Right? So fluorine has 8 electrons in the second energy level, so therefore it fulfills the octet rule. It looks just like neon. It has a noble gas configuration now. Let's now look at our second example, which is the formation of sulfide ion. We bring the periodic table, we look for sulfur. Sulfur is in group 6A, so it's going to have a 6 valence electrons, so it needs two more electrons to look like a noble gas, which is argon in this situation. And sulfur is in period 3, so we're going to have 3 energy level where we have to place the electrons. So the atomic number is 16 for sulfur. Number of proton is the same as the atomic number, which is 16 as well. Number electron in the neutral sulfur is 16. This is the nucleus with 16 protons, and the neutrons are not being shown. This is the first energy level. First energy level can hold a maximum number of 2 electrons. We bring the second energy level. We know that the second energy level can hold a maximum number of 8 electrons. So let's place those electrons. All right, now we have 8 electrons in the second energy level. So we have to bring a third energy level to put the rest of the electrons. So far we have 10 electrons, so we have 6 more electrons left. All right, now sulfur has a total number of 16 electrons. 6 in the outermost energy level, which is the third energy level. So therefore, sulfur has 6 valence electrons. So it needs 2 more electrons to assume a noble gas configuration. So sulfur will gain 2 electrons, which is being shown as those red dots. So now sulfur, after gaining 2 electrons, has a total of 16 electrons. Let's check for the charge. Number of proton is still 16, but now we have 18 electrons. So the charge on sulfur would be a -2. Why? Because it gains 2 electrons. So now it's now called sulfide ion, as you can see, with a -2 charge. And it fulfills the octet rule by getting those 2 electrons. So it has now 8 electrons in the third energy level, so it fulfills the octet rule. This is the end of our presentation. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share, and use the comment section to let us know if you had found the presentation to be useful. Thank you, and have a great day.